Berkshire Hathaway, Mr. Buffett himself, Warren Buffett's company, added new positions in D.R. Horton, NVR, and Lennar in the second quarter. Mr. Old Man Moneybags, Warren Buffett, really smart investor, making some big bets on real estate, Matt.
As I was writing my notes, I kept wanting to describe him as the plucky young Warren Buffett, the energetic, exuberant Warren Buffett has made, they call it a fresh bet, and home builders is what he's betting on. And I just, you scroll through here and you come in and you see they have a graph here of all the home builders that he invested in, and they are plotting it from the beginning of the year until now, and the lines are very much up and to the right, and some of these stocks have gone up 30-40%. Now, what's that period? Yeah, since the beginning of the year.
Well, they had really crashed the year prior.
Okay. But the story,
interest rates rising kind of cooled off. Everyone's like, I'm going to stop building.
And this is what's weird, I think. And what you see a real divergence in the multifamily decisions that are being made in terms of like, well, do I start a project now or not? Versus the home builder. Now, they used to be reasonable. They used to obey logic, but housing demand is almost illogically high. It is broken through kind of a threshold of reasonableness, such that it's
determined.
Yeah.
Determined. Millennials desire to have whatever place that they think that they are entitled to or deserve, and baby boomers needing to downsize, move around. It's the story. There's a lot of stories out there. I'm just on the American consumer and just shockingly resilient, and like, no, I'm going to keep spending money, and things keep cycling along, and we keep we're waiting for the recession, but the consumer's like, no, we're going to keep spending money.
Yeah,
keep buying a house. I don't care what the interest rate is.
And just yesterday we were talking, and we were talking about our most recent rent growth report, and I was having trouble landing. And I was like, how do I understand? And you made an important distinction between technicals and fundamentals. And as far as I understand it, is technicals is like looking at the pattern itself. Well, how does that, what kind of trends, what kind of math can you kind of apply to that progression of things? And then fundamentals is really the story behind it. And if you look at those numbers, and again, it's supply and demand. There's obviously I'm missing a lot here, but if you look at that chart there on the Wall Street Journal article, it's like up and to the right. You get a little bit scared, like, well, is it going to peak? It certainly seems like it. Maybe it peaked. Yeah. There's got to be something to it. But if you look at the story, then it's like, oh, it's not really weird that it's going up, because it is driven by discrete factors and discrete events, and that's maybe the fundamental.
Well, and I think that's a good way to put it. And it's more than just the kind of the narrative around it, but it's true. What is the supply? What is the demand? How many people are going out and wanting the thing? Yeah. What is the price of the thing? And, using actual numbers in history and actuals to determine what, the future may hold when you're trying to do a forecast. Whereas like technical analysis, you are looking at like trends.
Yeah.
And the continuation of trends, or looking for, statistical inflection points that that probability says that something may change, or it's past a point, whether you're looking at volatility, or volume, and they can all be really good indicators. The fundamentals can be wrong.
Yeah.
Cannot be a good indicator of price often, and sometimes the fundamentals can outweigh and overpower the technicals.
Yeah,
and that's kind of the case right now, where on the technicals, people are looking at certain indicators. We're showing home prices should crash because Jay Powell, and they say you don't fight the Fed. And you certainly don't want to be an individual fighting the Fed, but the housing market has really just...
And that's what my kind of conception of this difference is. There's a filtering that goes on if you're looking at just the line graph itself, or just like if you're, applying that kind of math to it. But if you're, if you're missing the story of housing demand, the story of, the reason why these home builders are actually seeing some success is because people there's no other way to get a home.
Because people are buying homes now. You look at the numbers and you say people shouldn't be buying homes.
Yeah.
Like you shouldn't do this, but they are. They are. There's the demand because people are at an age where the biological clock is ticking, and they're like, I want you to have kids and have a place to live, and I'm just gonna somehow figure it out. It's wild. And Warren Buffett, is a the classic value investor, and so this makes a lot of sense, and it tracks of like, no, look, we're seeing. I'm not going to look at the technicals of like, okay, just things seem priced from a probability and statistic point of view, but I see the actual demand in real time because Berkshire Hathaway, they're already in the real estate business. They own real estate brokerages on the residential single family home side. They also own, lending mortgage businesses and commercial, multifamily and commercial.
Berkshire Hathaway, is that Berkadia, or did they spin off?
I think it's still wholly owned by Berkshire Hathaway.
There you go.
Yeah. They've always been a big investor in housing, and this is just if anything, a double down.
It is interesting, the upshot of, or like the main point of this Wall Street Journal article was like, hey, Warren Buffett's investing in home builders. That's going to have some influence. A lot more people are going to be paying attention to this.
People do. People just follow his moves all of the time. And just a couple graphs. Yeah, man. Let's look at the charts.
So yeah, you talked about additional, kind of additional sources of information, additional trends, and this was one of the things that I jumped to in it as a way to understand. Okay, so where is home construction heading? And if you look, and we may need to resize the window here. But the numbers for home building for multifamily, now this is the amount of units currently under construction. For multifamily, it's this red line here. It seems like it's really soaring past, and at the same time that privately owned single family units are falling. So multifamily, a lot more under construction than single family. So you would think, oh well, that's a bad bet then. Don't buy single family home builders, buy the, apartment developers, or at least, that's where the trends are. But
because that also signal that there's going to be more demand. Well, there's going to be better price increases from supply constraints in the future on the single family home builder side than the multifamily.
And that could be too. But like as a statement of, builder interest or builder activity, that's where we are as a snapshot of builder activity currently. But if you want to think about maybe the future,
I was going to say these are under construction, not exactly permits.
So these are permits, and this is like the plans, maybe, or more of a little bit forward looking. And here you can see since about the beginning of 2023, permits for houses, single family homes, have increased, and permits for multifamily have gradually decreased. Now, there's a little bit more volatility for the multifamily, but still, the permits for single family homes easily are outdoing and following a completely opposite trajectory than the amount of units.
It makes sense. The the financing for large multifamily developments it's tight. It's hard to get financing. They're bigger deals. That's capital. It's more focused on getting a return versus the single family side, and they're looking at the single family side of being like, people are paying whatever for high interest rate, either get high interest rate mortgages, and they're still biting. And you can kind of do it more, kind of a little bit more one off, smaller deals rather than I'm going to finance the construction of a 250 unit multifamily. And they can be a little quicker to respond to the the single family guys.
Oh yeah, well, and that's what I was saying. It seems like there is a little bit more. Now, everyone can be a little bit unreasonable. I'm sure that you've seen some in negotiations. But there seems to be some logic that the multifamily owner and investor has that when you're buying a home, you really want that home. There's a little bit more of a heart into it, and also a higher demand for that property than there is for an apartment.
And that's that demand. And again, it's the difference between like the demand to purchase a single family home is more related to the demand to rent an apartment than the demand to buy a home is related to the demand to buy an apartment.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
So, and that would track with a little bit of a recovery kind of in the rental market, still pretty, relatively soft, but a little bit of a recovery in just general demand for housing and nice housing.
I mean, we kind of saw this at the very start of the pandemic. We followed the fall off of housing and then the real, real streak.
When the single family home market started going crazy, when interest rates were low, what wasn't being reported on as much was, rents were going crazy. Occupancies were tightening up and rents were starting to move. And because our initial thought, which was, just an educated one at the time, Matt, was that the more attractiveness and price points of purchasing a home would lower demand for multifamily.
Yeah.
I mean, we were like, that makes sense, right? Like people who are going to rent are just going to go buy now.
Yeah.
But the reality was there was demand for all types of housing, and people were buying and people were renting.
Yep.
And so it seems counterintuitive, but I mean, even when we've had mortgage rates rise, the opposite.
Yeah.
We've seen the demand still be there, for both. When it's been good for apartments, way better to rent an apartment than is to take out a mortgage today. There's still demand for housing. Yep. Demand for housing is demand for housing. They move in lockstep.
Totally true.